The Game Time podcast is sponsored by Matt Gaddis at State Farm. Whether it's your car, home, or renter's insurance, Mac's got you covered with fast, reliable service and a personal touch that you can trust. His info is on screen right now, so reach out today and see why so many people rely on Matt Gaddis. Big thanks to Mac for supporting the Game Time podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Game Time After Hours. I want to say thank you to everybody that showed love on the last video. Absolutely insane. 3,000 views on Game Time After Hours on the last episode. You guys see the shirt, man. I got the Reggie Miller shirt on. We are going to talk some NBA, and I want to start off with the Toronto Raptors. I watched them tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I also watched Houston and Phoenix. Both games, neither were necessarily close. Cleveland kept it somewhat close, and it's kind of the same thing with Phoenix, but Toronto, for the most part, was very much in control. Same thing with the Rockets over Phoenix. You look at this Raptors roster; it feels put together, right? And I talked about it with Daryl when we on the last couple of Game Time Live episodes on Fridays. I wanted to see how the Raptors looked at around this 15-game mark. We're about 18 games in now for all the teams, and they're 13-5. And they're playing really well. 6-2 at home, 7-3 away. They're 9-1 right now in their last 10 games. They are absolutely balling right now. And for me, I think the Raptors, I don't want to put them up in the championship tier yet, but man, that one over Cleveland, who in a lot of people's hierarchy was probably the second best team in the Eastern Conference, more or less looks like the fourth team. And that's the biggest issue with Cleveland and why I think they're continuously dropping down in my rankings is just for the simple fact. I think they're in same thing with the Knicks too a little bit. Mitchell Robinson's never going to be healthy. There's always a member of the Knicks or Cavs that isn't healthy come playoff time. And I think that will be the difference when we get there. I could see Toronto being fully healthy. Same thing with the Detroit Pistons, who are at the top of the Eastern Conference right now. The East, and Dom 2K has a great video on this. I'm curious, though, how legit are the Raptors still, right? And I continue to think that just for the simple fact, are the Raptors and the Pistons just replacing the Pacers and the Celtics this year, or will they be back again next year? Now, obviously, we can't look that far down the line because we're nowhere near that. But, it's just something that I've kept in the back of my mind as this season continues to roll. But the Raptors look really, really, really good so far this year. I'm going to switch over to this right here just to roll some highlights for you guys regarding this game. I thought it was a good game from the Raptors tonight. Brandon Ingram had a good bounce back game after not shooting the three ball well against, I don't remember who they played, but the Raptors look really strong very early on in this season. And it's unfortunate for the Cavs because, I think the Cavs, in my opinion, are better than New York. I think just Evan Mobley has completely changed the way he plays the offensive game. He can score from wherever. I saw him hit a three tonight, and I'm like, man, it just looks good to see him make those type of shots. And if he can hit those shots, that's huge for this Cleveland roster. Mobley is such a game changer. He's a defensive player of the year. I think Evan Mobley could be the reason that Cleveland gets over the hump because of his level of play on both sides of the ball. You look at it right here. No Darius Garland, no Jared Allen. They've got to be healthy. If I see a healthy Cleveland team in the playoffs, man, it'd be hard for me not to pick them to win the East. There's a lot of teams out East, and I think that just goes to show without Indiana and Boston in the picture, anybody can win the East because I will continue to say it. I think Milwaukee is seriously still a contender out East this season. They've got the shooters around Giannis. The out of nowhere play of Ryan Hollins. I like Milwaukee. I think if I had to rank it right now, 18 games in, I would go Detroit 1, Toronto 2, Cleveland 3, Milwaukee 4, New York 5. And I've watched a good amount of New York so far in this season as the season's wore on. And I like how New York has looked. but there's just something holding me back from New York. Maybe it's because, we've seen this roster a good amount now. Obviously, Towns just got there last year, but it does feel like we've seen this same New York team a little bit now. And maybe that's a little hypocritical, but I'm not sold on New York yet. If you want me to be honest, I probably won't be sold on anyone in the Eastern Conference for at least another maybe 25 games. Maybe Detroit, they're 15-2. I mean, literally the Thunder are 17-1. They're only like 2 games off of the Thunder's record at this point. I like how Detroit looks. I'm happy for Detroit. I'm very disappointed in the Magic, but tomorrow's going to be telling. They are actually undefeated in the NBA Cup, and that's very telling for sure. So I will be watching those games tomorrow. I do got to fly to Texas, but other than that, I'm going to try to watch the Magic tomorrow because I haven't gotten to watch enough of them this season. But I've just been so disappointed. I've had no interest in watching them. I've even sat down and watched Chicago before I've watched Orlando that much this year. So it's kind of crazy that I'm not watching a team that I was very high on. But, man, that record has been utterly disappointing. Keep an eye on Philadelphia, Atlanta as well. I really like Atlanta. I wanted to do a video on the top 5 players that I think could be traded at the deadline. And, I mean, if I'm going off the top of my head, I think LaMelo Ball is at 1. I'm going to say Zion at 2, John Moran at 3. At the 4 spot, let me look. At the 4 spot, who are we thinking? Somebody's trying to tell me Siakam, and I'm like, Siakam's not going to get traded, man. That's just blasphemy. There's no way he gets traded. At the 4 spot, probably Lauri Markkanen, and then 5th, I'm gonna I lost it. LaMelo. Golly, I lost my entire list. No, I think I said LaMelo, Zion, Ja, Lauri, and then there was somebody in 5th where I'm like, I heard it, but it's highly unlikely. I'm going to say Anthony Davis at 5. I'm going to get together a real list, probably not this week, but next week. It'll give me some time to plan out the next couple of Game Time After Apple episodes because I have a lot of ideas with this recorded series. I want to do top 5 players in the league right now, and off the top of my head, I'd probably say Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Luka, and then I think the 5 spot is up for grabs. If somebody told me Anthony Edwards, I necessarily wouldn't disagree with you, but I think the 5 spot's very up for grabs at this moment in time. I mean, looking at it, you could say Cade Cunningham, you could say Brunson, you could say maybe Donovan Mitchell. You go over to the Western Conference, somebody could tell me Sengun because, I mean, the way Alpine Sengun's been playing, Alpine, whatever. The way Sengun has been playing, I'm a huge Sengun supporter, and I love the way he's playing, and I like the way the Rockets are playing as well. But, man, I still think they need like a true point guard come playoff time. I think that's still their biggest hindrance. We talked about the Lakers a lot in the last episode. I'm not going to hit on the Lakers like that. It's gonna be interesting. We are at an interesting point in the season, but I just want to get on here, give my quick thoughts. Let's go ahead. Let's pull up the tier list. You know what? We've got some time here. Let's get the tier list up and maybe make some moves on this tier list for you wonderful folks at home. I can't do the drum roll as good as Daryl, so I'm not going to do that. But not as good as Daryl. What I was saying, I apologize, but no, I think I like how the tier list looks in the East so far. I kind of want to move Toronto up, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I do move them up. I think everything else is fine though. I think the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put Miami right here and keep Chicago here. Orlando and Boston are still figuring it out. Obviously, all these 4 teams can stay at the bottom because they're literally at the bottom right now. The only difference in the standings really is Milwaukee is below the Magic and the Celtics, but I'm not too worried about Milwaukee. Giannis is out, so I'm not really panicking about them yet. I think they're going to be just fine. Looking over at the West, I think there's nothing really wrong here. I think the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop Minnesota down. I'm going to put San Antonio right here because Wemby's out, so that's why they're down here. I don't really like Houston up top, but they're playing really well. They got a win over Phoenix tonight, who I think looks pretty good for the moves that they had to make this offseason. So overall, I think the tier lists on both sides look pretty good. I have no changes I'm going to make. Lakers play the Clippers tomorrow on NBC, and the Magic play, I don't know off the top of my head, but it should be a good one. So I'm excited to watch it. Folks, that is going to do it. I wanted to get a quick after hours episode out. There will be a new episode. My mic shut off. It's okay. There will be a new episode of After Hours next week. I appreciate all the love on these videos. If you like Game Time After Hours, subscribe to the Game Time Network. We even have an official website as well. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys as well. We also have our official website that kind of gives you a preview of Game Time After Hours. So make sure to check out the website and check out all the other wonderful things going on here on the Game Time Network. But folks, that is going to do it. I will see you guys in a couple days. That's going to do it for this episode of Game Time After Hours.